Today on Rocket Punch, let's see if we can survive the post-apocalyptic hellscape of the Fallout universe with the Fallout 95 starter set. Let's take a look.
All right, today let's take a look at Fallout, the role-playing game. This is the starter set by Modifius Entertainment. And yeah, it's a pretty nice little box. You get all these little goodies inside. Take a quick look. Let's open this thing up. Oy. All right. So inside, you get two gigantic D20s. These are a little bit bigger than your standard D20s. You get this nice hit location table die. You get these damage dice. These are your actual bullets or whatever. You get some bottle caps to track stuff with, action points or whatever. You also get in here this nice little adventure booklet. And you also get the rule book and some pre-made characters. So first up, let's take a look at the rule book. What is this? It's a 53-page rule book, and we'll go over the contents real quick. So you get your welcome to the wasteland, just what this game's about, how your characters kind of work, the core rules, the combat, and some cool reference lists. So I'm not going to explain. I'm sure you guys all kind of know basically about Fallout and the post-apocalyptic paradise that it represents. So this is basically flavored on Fallout 4, but I don't think it really matters too much other than the special abilities, but really that doesn't even matter. I mean, once you get playing, it can really be, doesn't even have to really be Fallout. You're just kind of using the flavor of the Fallout world. So in this game, we'll pick just one person here. We got a Vault Dweller. So in here, it kind of uses the special stats in the game. So you have your strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. And then you have some other stuff. It looks quite busy, but it's a pretty simple mechanic here. So on here, it kind of explains your strength is basically your physical prowess. Your perception is how much you notice stuff. Your endurance is your toughness. Your charisma is how well you can affect people. Your intelligence is your brain power. Your agility is your ability to balance on a beer bottle. And luck is kind of a spendable use that you can do some special effects in the game by burning your luck. And then you have some skills right here, which each pair up to one of the specials. So anytime you're going to do a task, you're going to add two of those together and get that number and then roll under it. So with your skills, you have your athletics, your bartering, which is buying and selling stuff, your big guns, so any kind of large rifle or machine gun kind of thing, you're going to use that, plus your endurance, energy weapons, explosives, lock picking, use your perception, medicine is your intelligence, melee weapons, your piloting, your repair, your science, your small guns, your sneaking, speech, survival, throwing, and unarmed combat. And then it talks about your carry weight. So in here you can carry 150 pounds of equipment plus your strength. So it does kind of keep that Fallout feel. So you're going to be tracking encumbrance in pounds. So right here you can see his items. He's got his Vault jumpsuit, lab coat, canteen, some purified water, Pip-Boy switchblade, 10mm pistol, some stim packs, bobby pins, mentats, and Comex. And each of those has a pounds rating, and it shows right here your maximum. And if you carry too much stuff, then it's going to raise the test difficulty of those strength and agility tests. For initiative, it's just your perception plus agility as a static number. So whoever's is higher gets to go first. And then your defense, there's just a flat defense, and this is based on your agility, your movability, essentially. So if you have agility of 1 to 8, your defense is 1. If you have agility 9+, it's a 2. So your agility is your first line of defense against getting hit. Then on here, you can kind of see on your character sheet, and what's nice is they kind of break it down. They also have the dice value modifier here. So on here, you have your physical damage resistance, your energy damage resistance, your rad damage resistance, and the health point you have at that location. That's going to play in because there's going to be called shots, or using that die, you can hit specific parts of the body. And then you have like your max health here is 10. It talks about a couple other stuff, health points, melee damage at your perks. But in here, let's go to the core rules. So the core rule in here, so if I want to do anything, blam, okay. If I want to do anything, say if I want to sneak, I have a rank in that skill, and it tells me right here it's agility. So I'm going to take my 3 plus my agility of 5, so I have an 8. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. It's always 2d10, so you always roll 2d20, and you're looking for at least 1 success. And then the GM can add up and how many successes you need. So it's kind of a strange roll under dice pool mechanic. That's kind of interesting. So I'm just going to roll that. So in this instance, I got a 2 and a 19. So I only need 1 success. So this one that's a 2 is under my 8. That counts as a success. Not only that, but it also is tagged. So if it's tagged, if it's under my initial rank, which is a 3, if it's under that, which is a 2, I'm going to gain an additional success. So instead of 1 success now, I have 2 successes because I rolled under the tag rating. So that's the essential mechanic of here. And then you're going to have how many difficulties there are. So in here, every success over what's needed, I'm going to be able to bank that as an action point that I can use for different mechanics later. So I just got 2. I only needed 1, which is like shooting a target, picking a simple lock, or I guess sneaking around town in the darkness or whatever. So now I have 2, so I made it higher. Now in here, there's actually 0 level difficulties. And it seems strange for most of us who just say, well, if it's 0 difficulty, you just automatically do it. So you do it, and you can still roll because you can roll to see if you generate action points. Because you always want to kind of have a bank of action points, which can do a lot of cool things in this game. So even for GMs who just hand wavium stuff, if it's fine, like sneaking around in utter darkness, you can still roll and you can see if you sneak and get an extra success. But if you get no successes on a 0 level, you didn't need any, so you still do it. So in here, the GM can also tweak the critical failure ranges. So in here for critical failure, because it's roll under, if it's normal, it's going to be a 20. If I roll a 20, I do a critical fail. It gets riskier, perilous, treacherous. At treacherous, 16 to 20 is a critical fail. So let's take a look at action points. So action points allow you to do a lot of cool things in the game. So in this instance, I just gained 1 action point because I got a 2 when I only needed 1 success. So with that, I can bank up to 6 of them, and I can use those on this little chart here, little page here, tells me what I can do. I can buy additional D20s. So typically I might have 2 D20s, and there's a little table here. So if I want to buy a third D20, that's plus 1 D20, it costs me 1 action point. If I want to do a 4th one, it's going to cost 3. I want to buy a 5th D20, it's going to cost 6. You can also use 1 AP to kind of meta ask the GM something that they have to answer from a certain point of view. It doesn't say that. You can also reduce time. For 2 action points, my test can have how long it takes me to do it. So like picking a lock or breaking into a safe or something. Maybe I can succeed, but I can succeed even quicker. So that can be handy. You can also take with 1 AP, you can take another minor action, and 2, you can take another major action. But the difficulty increases by plus 1. You can also do extra damage, these little damage dice. So you get to do, instead of 4 in this instance, I could do 5. The GM also gets to gain action points. So you can buy from the GM an action point and he gets to bank it. So if I want to like really succeed, I can buy that action point from the GM, and then he can use it later on his characters if he wants, his NPCs. There's also another kind of meta mechanic, which is luck. So you have a set luck skill. It doesn't regenerate until after, some mission or quest or something like that. So it's a dwindling supply, unlike AP, which you can kind of add up and remove. It's a supply. So with luck, you can do a couple things. It's got it described here, but it's nice and neat on this little table. You can luck of the draw, add a detail to a scene that wasn't there before. So you can have a little bit narration benefits there. You have a stacked deck. You can use your luck attribute instead of a skill test. So in here, my luck is a 5 and my strength is a 4. So I could use a luck to use my luck score plus athletics instead of my strength plus athletics. So I would be rolling under a 6 instead of a 5. You can also do lucky timing, so you can interrupt turn order. And misfortune, you can re-roll one of your d20s or 3 of your d6 damage dice. And it talks about using non-player characters. And then it goes into combat. So your minor actions, as you could buy, as it said before, with your AP, you can buy an aim, so you can make a called shot as opposed to just rolling the dice. You can draw an item, interact with stuff, move, take a chem, and then your major actions, you have assist, attack, command an NPC, defend, first aid. You can pass, not do anything. Rally, ready, sprint, and test. So it's nice with also assist in this game. You don't have to use the same skill test as the other player is doing. But if you do pass your skill test, you're going to give them 1 extra d20. So now we're at making an attack. You're going to choose your weapon and target. So on here, it already figures out. So if I'm going to use my 10mm pistol, I have my target number 7, which shows my small gun. So instead of referencing the charts, it's already built out here. And then it has your tag and then your damage. So in order to hit something, I'm just going to roll my 2d20s. And I just have to get 1 success. So I got a 1, which is awesome. So I got a critical. And as I didn't aim, I get to throw that. And I'm going to hit right in the torso, which is probably armored. So I have extra success with my 1. And I also have a torso shot. So say I'm going to hit... I'm going to hit this survivor. So he has a defense of 1. And he has torso physical damage reduction of 1. So with those 2 things, I'm going to have a defense of 2. So I hit his torso. And what I'm going to do with my gun has 4 of these little damage dice. So in here, I'm going to roll my 4. And right here, I get 2 damage, and I get an extra damage and an effect. So I did 3, so that's 1 damage over his armor rating. So what that does, he's going to go down in health by 1. And if you're asking yourself, say you only buy the core book instead of the starter set and get the really cool dice, which are basically the cost of the starter set, some kind of weird conspiracy going on there. They also have the hit location, so you don't have to own it. They have the D20 roll, and they also have the D6 roll. Or if you want to play with your buddies and they don't have the dice, there's a really easy way to do it. And then moving on to that damage, you can look at here. So you have a 1 shot, you do 1 damage. The 2 shots on 1 die, you do 2 damage. There's a 3 and 4. So even if you hit the target, you still might not do any damage. And then on a 5, you could do 5 and 6, you do 1 damage plus 1 damage effect. So some of the guns and weapons have different effects that can trigger when that is rolled. You can also, as I said before, by spending AP points, you can increase the damage. Then there's damage types, because each armor might be able to absorb or block different types of damage. And then you have some damage effects. So you have like a burst, so it hits one additional target within close range. Breaking, so it permanently damages the damage rating of an item. You also have persistence, so those damage effects keep kind of piling up. You got piercing, radioactive damage, spread damage, stunning, and vicious damage. And here you also have to watch out for radiation, just like in the game. That just goes directly, it bypasses your armor unless you have damage reduction armor. It also has critical hits. So anytime you take 5 or more damage in one hit to one specific area, it's going to critically damage that area. And it kind of gives you here. So if you have an arm crit damage, you're going to immediately drop that weapon. Leg, you immediately fall prone. And torso, you start bleeding heavily. And at the end of each subsequent turn, you suffer another 2 physical damage. And then a head, basically, you're momentarily dazed as opposed to just getting your brains blown out for some reason. And then you cannot see clearly and increase the difficulty of all tests that rely on vision by +2. So on dying, once you're reduced to 0 HP, you start to suffer an injury to the location stuck and then fall prone and start dying. If you suffer a critical hit, you suffer 2 injuries immediately. And then while you're dying, you're unconscious, can't recover HP from the first aid action, and can't take any further actions. And then at the end of every turn, you got to make an endurance survival test, with the difficulty being the number of injuries you've had. If you suffer any damage while dying, you immediately gain 1 additional injury. So in combat, you take a chem. You can also do first aid to try to stabilize a dying patient or heal points equal to your medicine rating on that other person. And it also talks about more on sidebar on using stim packs and healing robots, and then treating injuries, usually back at a facility. And it talks more about resting, long-term recovery, food and drink, and then each have kind of different effects for that. Talks about zones. It's zone combat, which I like, instead of feet and things like that. Talks about cover. So if you're behind a cover, so if you're behind cover, different cover type, wood, rubble, and concrete, you're going to have a 1, 2, or 3 additional combat dice. So if you're behind cover, you're going to roll that combat dice, and if it comes up, for example, a 1 success, then you're going to add that to the damage rating of your armor. And then it gives you a whole bunch of perks, which the core book has, and all the supplements also have additional perks in the game. But this has no character creation in there, so I'm not 100% why it's on there, because the pre-gens come with it all on there. And then it goes over all the different types of weapons you can get. So it's some nice charts that you can use. And it talks about the Pip Boys, and then a list of different food and beverages you can get. And it does have, like, if it's irradiated or not. So if it's irradiated, you're going to roll one of these combat die, and on a 1, you're going to take radiation damage. So you have all the fun food and beverage items from the games. You got your chems. They're going to give you different healing bonuses and things. And then it has talks about junk and your scavenging rules here. And then it talks about some cool, you got your magazines and what kind of effects they do, some miscellaneous stuff like bobby pins and multi. And that is in. You got some ads, and that's it for that book. You also have in here the adventure book, which is pretty cool because in the back it has some random hit locations and other kind of reference charts you can use in your adventures, which is handy, and these nice loot tables. But I'll go through here real quick just so you can see the adventure. It's pretty beefy, I think so. It's like 60 pages, including those back. So it's a different acts. You have a vault, some stuff in the ruins, things like that. So you got your campaign overview. You got a quick start in media res action here. You have some what the characters are going to look like. You got some NPCs here for like some different raiders you can use, and then Once you're done with this and you haven't bought the core rulebook, you can pretty easily just reskin these as different types of raiders. And you got a scientist here. And then just meeting people in the shelter. You do have Mr. Gutsy. You got outside in the ruins. I like a lot of the art in here is really good. You also get a nice dog meat companion. And then just kind of exploring. You got some ghouls you can fight in here. Some mirelurks. You got a super mutant, and you get to Diamond City and do some cool stuff there. Got some security guards, some additional things you want to do. So yeah, you could play this for a little while after you play this before you get the core rules. But I bought it was on sale, really cheap, and I wanted the dice the most because those dice are pretty cool. I like the big chunky D20s and the hit location dice. But yeah, I played this a little bit with my buddy Cuppa, and yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. So hopefully we get back to it and we get through this adventure. And then you also have different characters. So you have as I had before, the Vault Dweller. You have the Survivor. You have a Ghoul. You have a Super Mutant for some reason. You have a Mr. Handy you can play. It's kind of cool that they changed the art here for the Mr. Handy. But everyone else ends up being the Fallout Boy. And then you have a Brotherhood Initiate. And they all have like a little backstory, their little special skills, their weapons, and items. So yeah, if you want to have a quick, little cheap, cost-effective, I should say, beginner into the Fallout role-playing game, yeah, this is a pretty good little box. I think it'll keep you busy for a while. And like I say, most starter games now, they come with, this cool stuff that's like the dice alone are like the price of this starter set. So if you want a pair of Fallout dice, you might as well get the starter set. Even if you're going to buy the core book, you get the dice, and you get a pretty good, nice beginning adventure, and then like this starter book you could kind of give to your friends instead of giving them the whole core book to look through. That's basically enough that they need to know is in this book. And then you got a beautiful little carrying box with 95, a good year. And yeah, I hope you check it out. Take a look. It's usually on sale on Amazon for like 20, 25 bucks or something like that. So yeah, it's a total worthwhile purchase in my humble opinion. So yeah, go check it out, and we'll catch you again on Rocket Punch. Later.